Welcome to the part 3 of the story. We are excited to continue. If you have not had a chance to watch the part 1 and the part 2 of the story yet, be sure to click the links in the description below to catch up. Let us continue our story. The anonymous threat weighed heavily on Maya's mind, casting a shadow over her newfound confidence. As she sat at her desk, the note felt like a physical presence, looming over her thoughts. Doubts began to creep in, whispering that perhaps she wasn't cut out for this role after all. Could she truly lead Apex Solutions in the face of such opposition? Maya had fought hard to earn her place as a respected leader, but the threat made her question everything. She remembered the laughter of the executives who had once ridiculed her and how easily they had dismissed her ideas. Now, with this new challenge looming, she felt vulnerable. What if David and his supporters were right? Before we continue with the story, you should comment where you are watching from. If you are enjoying this story, do not forget to hit that subscribe button. We have another episode for you tomorrow. What if she was just an imposter in a position that didn't belong to her? Despite the support she had from her colleagues, Maya felt isolated in her uncertainty. The pressure of leadership weighed down on her shoulders like an anchor. She thought about the changes they had started to implement, the workshops, the open discussions, and the camaraderie that was blossoming among employees. But now, with fear creeping in, she wondered if it was all too fragile to survive. As days passed, Maya found it increasingly difficult to focus on her work. The threat replayed in her mind like a broken record, making it hard to concentrate on the tasks at hand. She tried to push through, attending meetings and engaging with her team, but inside she felt like she was battling a storm of self-doubt. During one particularly challenging meeting, as she presented updates on their initiatives, she noticed some executives exchanging glances filled with skepticism. It stung more than usual because she could sense that they were waiting for her to falter. Their body language seemed to say they were just waiting for an opportunity to pounce on any mistake she might make. Maya's heart raced as she spoke. She could feel the weight of their judgment pressing down on her. Each word felt heavy as she fought to maintain her composure and project confidence. But deep down, the fear of failure gnawed at her. After the meeting, Olivia approached Maya with concern etched on her face. She could see that something was troubling her friend and mentor. Maya hesitated but eventually opened up about the threat and how it was affecting her confidence. Olivia listened intently, offering words of encouragement and reminding Maya of all the progress they had made together. Despite Olivia's support, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that danger lurked around every corner. She knew that David would not give up easily. He would continue to fight for his power and influence within Apex Solutions. The thought of facing him again filled her with dread. As Maya continued to grapple with these feelings of insecurity, she realized that she needed to confront this fear head-on if she was going to lead effectively. She couldn't let doubt dictate her actions or undermine everything they had worked for. Determined not to let fear win, Maya decided to take action. She reached out to trusted colleagues and organized a meeting where they could discuss strategies for addressing the threat together. She knew that by uniting as a team, they could strengthen their resolve against any opposition. As preparations began for this meeting, Maya felt a flicker of hope reignite within her. Perhaps this challenge could serve as an opportunity to rally support and reinforce their commitment to change at Apex Solutions. The hook of this chapter left Maya standing at a crossroads once more, caught between fear and determination. With every ounce of strength she could muster, she resolved to reclaim her confidence and lead with purpose, ready to face whatever opposition lay ahead in their journey toward transformation and respect within their workplace. As 𝗧𝗧 prepared for the meeting with her colleagues, Olivia took it upon herself to rally support among other employees who believed in 𝗧𝗧's vision for a better workplace. She reached out to friends and co-workers, sharing 𝗧𝗧's story and the recent threat that had shaken her confidence. Olivia emphasized the importance of standing together against the corporate elitism that had long plagued Apex Solutions. Word spread quickly as employees began to gather in small groups, discussing their own experiences of feeling overlooked or dismissed. Many shared stories of how they had faced challenges in the workplace, ideas ignored in meetings, promotions denied without explanation, and contributions belittled by those in higher positions. Each story resonated deeply with others, creating a sense of solidarity among them. Olivia organized informal gatherings where employees could come together to share their struggles and support one another. These meetings became a safe space for people to express their frustrations and hopes for change. Employees who had once felt isolated began to realize they were not alone in their experiences. As the gatherings continued, 𝗧𝗧's name became a rallying cry for those who wanted to see a shift in the company culture. Employees spoke passionately about how they admired her courage to confront David and challenge the status quo. They recognized that her fight was not just for herself, but for everyone who had ever felt powerless within the organization. During one of these gatherings, Olivia encouraged everyone to write down their stories anonymously. This would allow them to share their experiences without fear of judgment or retribution. The stories poured in, each one highlighting the struggles against corporate elitism and the desire for respect and equality. As they compiled these stories, a powerful narrative began to emerge. It was a collection of voices united by a common goal, a workplace where everyone could thrive without fear of being overlooked. The stories served as a reminder of why they needed to stand together and support 𝗧𝗧's vision for change. With each story shared, the energy in the room grew stronger. Employees felt empowered by their collective experiences and began brainstorming ways to present their ideas to management. They discussed organizing a formal presentation that would outline their vision for a more inclusive workplace, complete with testimonials from those who had faced adversity within Apex Solutions. Olivia took charge of coordinating this effort, ensuring that everyone felt included in the process. As she worked alongside her colleagues, she could see how much hope had blossomed among them. They were no longer just employees, they were advocates for change, ready to fight against the elitism that had held them back for so long. 𝗧𝗧 learned about Olivia's efforts and felt a surge of gratitude wash over her. Knowing that her colleagues were coming together strengthened her resolve to lead with confidence. She realized that she didn't have to face this challenge alone. She had a team of supporters who believed in her vision. As preparations for the presentation progressed, tensions began to rise within Apex Solutions. David sensed that his grip on power was slipping as more employees openly supported 𝗧𝗧. He grew increasingly frustrated with Olivia's efforts to rally support against him. In response, David attempted to undermine Olivia's influence by spreading rumors about her intentions. He hoped to create division among employees and weaken their resolve. But instead of causing doubt, his actions only fueled the fire within those who stood behind 𝗧𝗧. The atmosphere at Apex Solutions was charged with anticipation as employees prepared to present their vision for change. They were ready to confront any opposition that came their way, determined to reclaim their voices and demand respect within their workplace. As the day of the presentation approached, Maya felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. She knew that this was a pivotal moment not just for herself, but for everyone who had ever felt marginalized at Apex Solutions. With Olivia leading the charge alongside her supportive colleagues, they were prepared to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The chapter closed with a sense of unity among employees as they rallied behind Maya's vision, a movement fueled by shared experiences and a commitment to transforming Apex Solutions into a place where respect and equality reigned supreme. As the day of the presentation drew closer, tension simmered beneath the surface at Apex Solutions. While employees rallied behind Maya, a group of executives began to plot against her, fearing the influence she had gained among the workforce. They whispered in hushed tones, exchanging worried glances as they discussed how to undermine her efforts. David Carter, still reeling from his loss of power, took the lead in these clandestine meetings. He felt threatened by Maya's growing support and was determined to regain control. He believed that if he could discredit her before the presentation, he could weaken the movement she had sparked among employees. The executives gathered in a conference room, their expressions grim as they brainstormed ways to discredit Maya. They recalled how she had stood up to David in the board meeting, and it infuriated them that someone they had once dismissed could now command such respect. They feared that if Maya succeeded in her vision for change, it would dismantle the hierarchy they had relied on for so long. Flashbacks revealed their motivations for resisting change. Many of these executives had climbed the corporate ladder by adhering to traditional practices that favored elitism and control. They remembered how they had been rewarded for maintaining the status quo and how their positions depended on keeping others in their place. The thought of losing their power sent shivers down their spines. David reminded them of the importance of maintaining their authority. He argued that if they allowed Maya's ideas to take root, it would open the floodgates for other employees to voice their concerns and challenge leadership. The executives nodded in agreement, their fear of losing control binding them together. As they plotted against Maya, they discussed strategies to create doubt among employees about her capabilities. They planned to spread rumors about her leadership style and question her qualifications. They believed that by undermining her credibility, they could rally support back to their side. Meanwhile, Maya remained focused on her preparations for the presentation. She was unaware of the brewing opposition against her, but felt a sense of urgency as the day approached. She and Olivia worked tirelessly to finalize their ideas and gather testimonials from employees who supported their vision. As the presentation day finally arrived, tension hung thick in the air. Employees gathered in anticipation, ready to share their stories and advocate for change. But behind closed doors, David and his allies were preparing to launch their counterattack. Maya took a deep breath as she entered the meeting room, feeling a mix of excitement and apprehension. She was determined to present not just her ideas, but also the collective voices of those who had faced adversity within Apex Solutions. She believed that together they could create a workplace where everyone felt respected and valued. Little did she know that as she stood on the brink of this pivotal moment, powerful forces were working against her, forces determined to silence her voice and maintain their grip on power within the company. The setup for confrontation was complete, with both sides poised for battle. As Maya prepared to speak, she felt an electric charge in the room, a sense that everything was about to change forever, whether for better or worse. The stakes were high as she faced not only external opposition, but also the internal struggle for confidence and unity among her supporters. With every passing moment leading up to the presentation, it became clear that this was not just a fight for leadership, it was a fight for the very soul of 𝗟𝗡𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗧 a battle between those who sought progress and those who clung desperately to power. As the company-wide meeting began, the atmosphere was thick with tension. Employees filled the room, their faces a mix of anticipation and anxiety. 𝗧𝗧𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗧 stood at the front, ready to present her vision for change, but she could feel the weight of dissent lurking in the air. She knew that some executives were prepared to challenge her authority, and she steeled herself for what was to come. As she started her presentation, outlining the new initiatives aimed at fostering a more inclusive workplace, she noticed a group of executives exchanging glances. David Carter sat among them, his expression one of defiance. 𝗧𝗧𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗧 took a deep breath and pressed on, determined to share her ideas despite the unease gnawing at her. Just as she began discussing the importance of employee feedback in shaping company policies, one of the executives stood up. He challenged 𝗧𝗧𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗧's qualifications and questioned whether someone from a janitorial background could truly understand the complexities of leadership. The room fell silent as all eyes turned toward him, tension crackling like electricity. 𝗧𝗧𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗧 felt a rush of heat rise to her cheeks, but quickly regained her composure. This was not the first time someone had doubted her abilities, and she refused to let it derail her. She acknowledged his concerns directly, reminding everyone that her experiences had given her unique insights into the challenges faced by employees at all levels. She emphasized that true leadership came from understanding and valuing every voice within the organization. Another executive joined in, echoing doubts about 𝗧𝗧𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗧's vision and suggesting that it would lead to chaos within the company. The dissenters rallied together, their voices rising in unison as they questioned 𝗧𝗧𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗧's authority and intentions. It was clear that they were attempting to undermine her credibility in front of everyone. 𝗧𝗧𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗧 felt a surge of determination as she looked around the room at her supporters. She could see many employees nodding in agreement with her previous points, their expressions reflecting hope and encouragement. This was not just about her, it was about everyone who had ever felt silenced or dismissed. With renewed strength, 𝗧𝗧𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗧 addressed the dissenters directly. She reminded them that change was often met with resistance, but that progress required courage and collaboration. She spoke passionately about the need for a workplace where everyone felt respected and valued, a workplace where ideas could flourish regardless of who presented them. As she spoke, 𝗧𝗧𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗧's voice grew stronger, resonating with conviction. She shared stories from employees who had come forward with their struggles and aspirations, stories that highlighted the importance of creating an inclusive environment. The more she spoke, the more she could feel the tide beginning to shift in her favor. The dissenters were taken aback by her confidence and clarity. Their attempts to undermine her authority began to falter as employees started to rally behind 𝗧𝗧𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗧's message. The room buzzed with energy as supporters voiced their agreement and shared their own experiences of feeling marginalized. 𝗧𝗧𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗧 seized this moment to reinforce her vision for change. She laid out specific plans for implementing new policies that would empower employees at all levels and foster a culture of respect and collaboration. Her passion ignited a spark among those present, transforming skepticism into support. As the meeting progressed, it became clear that 𝗧𝗧𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗧's strength was winning over hearts and minds. The dissenters' voices grew quieter as more employees stood up to express their commitment to supporting 𝗧𝗧𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗧's vision for 𝗟𝗡𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗧 solutions. By the end of the meeting, it was evident that a significant shift had occurred. Maya had faced opposition head-on and emerged not only unscathed, but empowered. The confrontation had solidified her position as a leader who was willing to listen, learn, and fight for what was right. As employees left the meeting room buzzing with excitement about what lay ahead, Maya felt a sense of triumph wash over her. She had stood firm against those who sought to challenge her authority and had turned doubt into determination among her colleagues. The climax of this confrontation marked a turning point for Apex Solutions, a moment when unity prevailed over division and hope triumphed over fear. With each step forward, Maya knew they were ready to face whatever challenges awaited them on their journey toward transformation and equality within their workplace. As the employees filtered out of the meeting room, the atmosphere was electric with excitement and newfound energy. Maya felt a wave of relief wash over her, but just as she began to savor her victory, one of the dissenting executives stood up to make one last attempt to undermine her. This executive, known for his arrogance, began to speak loudly about how Maya's ideas were impractical and would lead to chaos within the company. He gestured animatedly, trying to rally support among those who had been skeptical of Maya's leadership. However, in his fervor to discredit her, he inadvertently revealed his own incompetence. In the heat of his argument, he cited a recent project that had failed under his direction, blaming it on a lack of employee engagement. He claimed that Maya's approach would only exacerbate the issues they had already faced. But as he continued, he mistakenly mixed up key details about the project timeline and the team involved. The more he spoke, the clearer it became that he didn't fully understand what had gone wrong. Employees began to exchange glances, and soon whispers turned into chuckles. The absurdity of his claims and his obvious confusion was too much for them to contain. Laughter erupted in the room, cutting through the tension like a knife. Maya couldn't help but smile as she watched the dissenting executive's face turn red with embarrassment. His attempt to undermine her authority had backfired spectacularly. The laughter grew louder as employees recalled their own frustrations with his leadership style and how they had felt ignored during his projects. Realizing he had lost control of the narrative, the executive quickly tried to regain his composure, but it was too late. The laughter had shifted the mood entirely in Maya's favor. Employees rallied around her even more, their spirits lifted by this unexpected twist. Maya seized this moment to reinforce her message about collaboration and accountability. She reminded everyone that true leadership meant learning from mistakes and working together to find solutions. The laughter had not only lightened the atmosphere but also solidified their unity against those who sought to maintain power through fear and incompetence. As the meeting concluded, employees left with smiles on their faces, energized by both Maya's leadership and the comical blunder of one of their dissenters. The unexpected twist had transformed what could have been a tense moment into a celebration of solidarity and shared purpose. Maya felt grateful for this turn of events. It reminded her that even in serious situations, humor could play a powerful role in bringing people together. She knew that as they continued their journey toward transformation at Apex Solutions, they would face challenges ahead, but with laughter and unity on their side, they were ready to tackle anything that came their way. The chapter closed with Maya reflecting on how far they had come together as a team. The opposition had underestimated her strength and resilience, and now they were more determined than ever to create a workplace where everyone felt valued and respected. With renewed confidence, Maya looked forward to what lay ahead, knowing that together they could overcome any obstacle in their path. As the days passed after the successful presentation, 𝗧𝗧 felt a renewed sense of strength and determination. The laughter and support from her colleagues had bolstered her confidence, making her feel like a true leader. However, beneath the surface of this newfound unity, 𝗧𝗧 sensed that not everything was as it seemed. While employees were energized and motivated, she began to notice subtle signs of discontent among some staff members. Conversations hushed when she entered rooms, and there were whispers of concern that lingered in the air. It became clear that the confrontation with the dissenting executive had only scratched the surface of deeper-rooted issues within Apex Solutions. 𝗧𝗧 decided to investigate further. She reached out to various teams, asking for feedback on their experiences and any ongoing challenges they faced. As she listened to their stories, a troubling pattern emerged. Many employees expressed frustration with outdated processes, lack of support from management, and a pervasive culture of fear that still lingered despite recent changes. These conversations revealed that the issues at Apex Solutions were more complex than she had initially realized. The resistance to change was not just about her leadership, it was also tied to long-standing practices that had created an environment where employees felt undervalued and overworked. 𝗧𝗧 understood that superficial changes would not be enough to address these problems. She needed to dig deeper and uncover the root causes of dissatisfaction among her colleagues. This would require not only her leadership, but also a commitment from everyone at Apex Solutions to confront these issues head-on. With this new understanding, 𝗧𝗧 gathered a diverse group of employees for a series of open forums where they could discuss their concerns openly. She wanted to create a safe space where everyone could voice their thoughts without fear of retaliation. The forums quickly became a platform for honest dialogue about the challenges they faced daily. As employees shared their experiences, 𝗧𝗧 listened intently, taking notes and reflecting on what needed to change. She learned about specific instances where processes had failed them or where communication had broken down between departments. It became evident that there was a significant disconnect between management and staff, one that needed urgent attention. 𝗧𝗧 realized that she would need to advocate for systemic changes within the company, addressing not just the symptoms but also the underlying issues that had contributed to the toxic culture they were trying to overcome. This would require courage and persistence as she faced opposition from those who preferred to maintain the status quo. Despite the challenges ahead, 𝗧𝗧 felt empowered by the support of her colleagues who were eager for change. They rallied around her vision for a more inclusive workplace and were ready to stand together against any resistance they might encounter. As she prepared for the next steps in this journey, 𝗧𝗧 understood that true transformation would take time and effort from everyone involved. She was committed to leading this charge, knowing that it would require more than just her voice. It would require a chorus of voices united in their desire for respect and equality. The wrap-up of this chapter left 𝗧𝗧 standing at the forefront of a movement that was gaining momentum but also revealed the depth of work still needed ahead. She was ready to face whatever challenges lay in her path, armed with knowledge and supported by those who believed in her vision for Apex Solutions, a vision built on trust, accountability, and genuine respect for every employee within the organization.